You opened up your first location. Was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago, we opened up in Pinole, California.
And your second location is here in Emeryville.
Emeryville, we opened on June 5th, 2023.
And I saw on IG that this was your 2-year anniversary.
By the grace of God, we made 2 years.
How do you open up 2 locations within 2 years? That is a crazy grind to me. How in the world did you do that?
Man, first of all, God.
Welcome back to another episode of the Big Dog Talk podcast. It's your boy, Big Charles. Listen, today is a special day for me because this podcast is about self-development, unlearning and relearning, healing and building, and tapping into your own infinite God energy that we all possess on the inside of us. We talk about self-development. We talk about mental health. We talk about entrepreneurship. Today, we want to inspire you today. I told you in the beginning of the first episode of season 2 that I was going to bring high value guests on this podcast. This today is special. We have our own Wendell Hunter, the owner, the CEO, the founder of Butter Pecan Bake Shop. How you feeling, buddy?
I feel amazing. I feel amazing to be in your presence, brother. Big Charles.
Don't even start talking yet. Don't even start talking yet because before we even get started, I want to give you your flowers while you're here.
Appreciate you.
You know what I mean? This is your second location, right?
Second location. First location's in Pinole, right here in Emeryville.
But look, though, so you born and raised in California.
Yes, sir.
Right, so you went to Cal.
Went to Berkeley. Go Bears.
You played in the NFL.
I played in the NFL for a little bit. Buffalo Bills.
Family man. Husband. Father.
Yes, sir.
CEO.
Yes, sir.
Entrepreneur.
Yes, sir.
Man. So let's talk about that. So let's rewind it, and you tell me where are you from? Give us a little intro of your background, where are you from, all of that.
All right, so for me, it starts. My family's from Compton. I was born in Long Beach, raised in Carson. For me, it was all about. It was on the football field. That's where I started. I learned a lot of the hard knocks and everything on the football field. But it was also all about. All my friends was all about. Wanted to get money, and so for me, it was taking the things that I learned from the football field and connecting that with the lessons from business and just putting it all together. Played ball, got a scholarship to go to UC Berkeley. From UC Berkeley, I played, like you said, I played a little bit in the NFL. But this is not the story of this great NFL linebacker that,
right.
I was on the practice squad. I played for a little bit. I was done. I had to get a job. Had a, soon to be family that was coming up. And got a job, start putting things together, had a business before this one.
We're going too fast.
We're going too fast.
You're going too fast. So let me ask you this, because you said all of your friends growing up, right?
Okay.
You guys were about getting money.
Get money.
So tell me about your environment growing up.
Okay, so for me, like I said, I grew up in Carson. It starts when it comes to my environment, it starts with my dad.
Okay.
My dad is, he has always been, kind of like my role model. My dad, he was he was one of 7 kids. He was one of those guys, a leader by example. Took me with him to do everything he did. Had apartments. Had a pretty good job. And me and my brother, we were like the crew, and we basically did everything. So it started with that. I also, it took the village to raise me. I had, a bunch of uncles, both sides of my family, uncles. I had my grandmas, I had aunties. It truly was a village that raised me. I grew up old school. I was one of those kids. I was outside all day. I knew everybody in my neighborhood. I was a part of the cloth.
So you said that you used to work with your father. Was he an entrepreneur? Was he? Because you said in the beginning.
Yeah. So my dad, by trade, my dad is an engineer. My dad also he owned property, and so instead of hiring contractors or having gardeners, he had me and my brother. And so we did everything. We needed to cut the grass. We cutting the grass. We needed to go get the apartment ready. It was me and my brother. And mind you, this is during the times. I mean, this is LA back in the early 90s. This is Pops had apartments in the hood. So, we're going into South Central, Watts, all of these different neighborhoods. And I mean, we're just the young guys just doing whatever was necessary.
So growing up, was it like any competition with you and your brother?
I mean, me and my brother, it was always love. I mean, it was always a healthy competition. I mean, I was the youngest, so being the youngest, it was my brother and there's my cousin. My cousin Dave and my brother. They're both. I always had these kind of like these two role models in front of me. It was almost kind of like a foreshadowing of what was to come. When he was in junior high, I'm like, okay, I can see he got into girls. I'm like, okay, this is what you do. I was able to kind of, he kind of laid a nice example for me.
Okay, so question for you then. So childhood, then we get to, let's just say, teenagehood. When did sports come into play?
So for me, it's funny, man. Like, I think sports, even before I was born, man, I mean, I learned the origins of my name, man, and my mom named me after a football player. This guy by the name of Wendell Tyler, my mom named me after. And so, ever since I could remember, I was given a football, and I just took it and ran with it. And, I just took it. That's all I could remember.
And so does any, like, disciplines come with that mindset when it comes to competing? So when did you start football?
So for me, starting football, I mean, I was 7 years old when I started. I was 7 years old when I started, and I mean, really, I did it because my cousins did it. My cousins, they all played ball, and so just following their footsteps, I just did it. Yeah.
So where did the entrepreneur mindset come from?
So if the thing about growing up in LA is everybody's trying to get money.
Okay.
And so I was always the kind of person. I was always a curious guy. Whatever setting I was in, I was always somebody to ask questions. I was always curious. I found myself probably eighth grade. It was probably eighth grade when one of my closest friends, he had got exposed to, he was kind of a businessman. My good friend Mike, he was a businessman, and in the middle of playing video games and playing football, he was telling me about different ways that we could make money. And so anything that was legal that we could do, from selling candy to lemonade stand, anything we could do, he was the one that kind of exposed me to business and kind of just got me on that track.
So it was more, respectfully, it was more of like a hustler's mindset back then.
I would say so. I mean, in LA, for us,
y'all got your own sauce in LA though. It's a lot of hustlers in LA. Y'all have your own thing going on out there, your own culture in LA.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It was, for us, it was about just wanting to have your own money.
Okay.
You get to a place where, you get tired of asking your parents for money, and you want to buy some fly gear. You want to be able to just get out and do what you want to do. And so I liked having my own money and being able to have just kind of autonomy over, what I was doing. And so, yeah, that was it.
So we grow up in LA. We go to college.
Yep.
Is that where you met your beautiful wife?
I did. Yeah. So went to Cal, met my wife probably 2 years in. So I was there a couple years, and then she came, and so yeah, we had class together, and it was kind of serendipitous.
Okay. So look, question then: marriage, kids. So how did we get to cookies? What did that come into place? What did that come into play?
Marriage, kids. How did we get to cookies?
Like, how did you get there?
How did we get there? So the good thing about my wife and I was 19 when I met her.
Okay.
She was 17. the person that I am today is an evolved version of the man I was back then. I mean, even when I was an athlete at Cal, I always had a side hustle. Always. I mean, it was whether I was dog training, it was always something. And so, so for me, it was important for me. I've always been a very authentic person, and me and my wife at our core, we're great friends.
Okay.
And so I think that early on, she just, I've always been honest. And so we just developed a true friendship, and it's almost like a responsibility that I think that we have for each other is to kind of help each other to kind of become the best versions of ourselves that we could become.
So you're saying that your wife is a big part in your self-development and you being your best self?
100%. I mean, 100%. I mean,
talk about it then. I mean, make her feel good because she's going to watch this.
Yeah, no. My wife is dope. I mean, my wife is dope. I kind of think about me and my wife as if it's almost like we grew up together, you know, because I had a lot of, like when I met my wife, it was, like I said, I was 19 years old. I had a lot of amazing qualities, but I still was a little, I still was a little rough around the edges.
Right.
You know what I mean? Honestly, I was rough around the edges. And I met my wife, and I feel like, they say like opposites attract. Me and my wife, we're kind of the yin to each other's yang, where I'm I've always been kind of a big thinker, visionary. I'm like super, super high level, whereas my wife is very detail oriented, attention to detail, just very meticulous. And, early on I developed an appreciation for how unique people can come together. And, it's almost like the Avengers, you come together and you become like this super force. And I always felt like me and her, I just always felt like I was better with her. Ooh. Like I was just a better man with her.
Oh, I say this all the time. I say, when you find a woman that really, really, really love you, when you find a woman that really, truly love you 100% and they have your back, there's not a person in this world that got you more than your woman, your wife have you. Would you agree with that or not?
I agree, man. I mean, because like I said, we've been together almost 15 years at the date of this podcast. And
Wait.
Yeah.
Been together?
Well, married.
How? Almost?
15 years. Yeah.
We're not going to skip over that. We're not going to skip over. Congratulations to that.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but we had to take a moment for that.
Yeah.
So been married for almost 15 years.
Yep.
Then we was telling the story, and I cut you off. I'm sorry.
What was I saying? Been together, married almost 15 years. No, I was gonna say that, and in that time frame, I mean, the homies come and go. The homies come and go. Ooh. I've had many good homeboys. Been these seasonal partners, and I'm riding. I got seasonal partners, and every time I look over, my girl, she's still riding with me. And even in those moments when it didn't look good, there's been times it didn't look good. I mean, you're talking about a man, I'm a guy that, like I said, this is not the story of a guy that went to the NFL and made a whole lot of money. I mean, this is a guy that I got cut 2 times. I got landed flat on my face. I've been fired 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
Finding my truth. This has been a journey in itself.
Wow.
Yeah, like for real.
So we going there. Well, let's go there then. You said you got fired a few times. You landed flat on your face. You've been cut. You switched teams a few times.
Yeah.
So what was the mindset and the emotion in that moment? And just pick out one of those moments.
Yeah.
What was the mindset and the emotion behind that, and what got you out of that phase, if that makes sense?
Yeah, for me, I always had this belief that it was always things were gonna always end up amazing and for the greater good. I always knew that like it was all these moments in time. I understood they were just moments in time, and that as long as I just stayed the course, at some point I was gonna get to my true destination. It's like I always think about myself as like being like a actor in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You look at a movie and it's this tumultuous ride. It's a tumultuous ride, and one way or another you bump into somebody, something happens, and things start to click. And in my life, I've always felt like as long as I can see the next step, I'm on my journey. You know, I don't got to see around the corner, and you know, I don't know. I can't tell you what's gonna happen in 5 years, but I can see my next move. And at every point in this journey, I can always see my next move. And so I just said, let me just play my part and just stay diligent.
Sheesh. So, okay, another question then, Wendell. Because you said you fell flat on your face and you made a statement back earlier. You said the homies come and go.
Homies come and go, man.
Homies come and go, and it's in the midst of adversity as well.
Yes.
But you also said your lady was right there. Your wife was right. Your lady who became your wife.
Yep.
Was right there. How did that make you feel, having her by your side, that support?
Yeah, it made me feel, for me, I'm a historian, man, and I study the greats. And I mean, from, Barack Obama to, you name any great man, and, 9 out of 10 times, it's a great woman by their side. And it took me time to really appreciate that. And for me, it was kind of this unlocking mechanism, it kind of unlocked me, because I've always been the kind of person, I never needed the approval of everyone. I always just needed the approval of just a select few, and as long as I was making those people proud, I knew I was doing, I was doing God's work. So, yeah.
But we live in a society, a culture that believes the man has to always be already prepared before he goes to and I guess get his woman or his wife. And in this case, it doesn't seem like you wasn't prepared.
I had a pretty good idea, but I definitely cannot say that I was already prepared by, I don't know, today's standards. I can remember when I got married to my wife. I was, I had a few dollars left over from playing. I was in a very kind of a transition period. I was trying to figure out kind of what I was going to do. And I remember telling myself that whatever I did, I wanted to do it with her. I said, whatever I did, I want to do it with her, and so I said, I just had to make a decision. And I'm like, yo, I also think it's kind of this line of demarcation of going from like being a boy to becoming a man. You know what I mean? And I felt like for me, that happened, all those experiences that I went through from getting cut to, being fired multiple times, like, I feel like it kind of grew me up real fast, because you're playing ball and stuff, like, it's cool. You're kind of in a bubble, but like when you're in the real world, you realize that like this world don't love you.
Wow.
This world don't love you, and you got to grow up. And if you got a good one that's right by your side, only a fool would just let that pass. So I had to hold that down.
You know what I get? What I get from that? You said you had an idea. So when you say idea, to me, when you say idea, I had an idea. I see that you had a vision for your life already. And I always tell people all the time, if you have vision for your life, you have a sense of direction. And when you have a sense of direction, that means that you can progress in some sort of way, So would you say your number one, I don't even want to say number one. Would you say like one of your PowerPoints is that you had a vision, some sort of vision for your life, that you knew you weren't your situation, but you were better than that?
I always did. I always knew I was going to be successful. I remember, talking to my mom, and, we were, initially it was like, oh yeah, play football. And I remember when I got cut, and I remember my mom she says, well, I guess you're going to make your millions doing something else.
Ooh.
She said that. She's like, well, I guess you're going to make your millions doing something else. And I remember, when I played football, like I was, I was in, I never forget, like I was a linebacker for the Buffalo Bills, and I backed up Takeo Spikes. Takeo Spikes he was like a Pro Bowl linebacker, like, and we were friends. He wore number 51, I wore number 52, and so we became friends and went to his house and got to see the kind of lifestyle he lived. And I was like, wow, I can get accustomed to this kind of lifestyle. This is what I deserve for myself and for my family. And I remember that day when I got fired or got cut. And I remember telling myself, like, I'm still gonna live that lifestyle. Like, them dudes still ain't better than me. I'm still gonna live that lifestyle.
God,
like, one way or another, like I gotta get back to that. I gotta get back to that level. like a great prize fighter who got knocked down. You're like, yo, I gotta work my way back up, and I gotta get back there.
So right now, as you talk, I'm also like I'm like a fan right now.
Appreciate
you
you,
know what I
brother.
mean. So and this is for the listeners. What do you tell a person, right, that's flat on their face, that's in their worst moments, and like how can you like walk us through getting that mindset? Because it's hard to fall flat in your face over and over and over and over again, and then say, you know what, I know I'm still going to be something. Like, where does that come from? Give us something, some type of doggy treat that can inspire the listeners, because at the end of the day, reality is life is hard, and it doesn't get any easier. So how did you create a mental muscle like nothing is going to stop you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good question. I would say it starts from within. I mean, in my mind, like I've always felt as if I've always thought of myself like that I could do anything that I put my mind to. But in those moments, where it doesn't look good, I always try to just kind of simplify my life and kind of reduce the noise. Sometimes life can be so noisy and you're looking at everybody else and this person's doing this and they're at a different level, and understanding that like timelines are really arbitrary. Like it doesn't really matter. Like everybody has their own timeline. And I always think about when I do get to that place of being successful, like, or being wherever I think I'm supposed to be, just truly being ready for it. Because it's one thing to have had, it's another thing to have had and lost. It hurts more to have had and lost than it is to have never had. And so for me, I've always said that whenever I do get to that place, I want to own it. And like I remember being a young person, I remember seeing people having TED Talks, and or being on like the Breakfast Club or something like that, and I'd be like, man, if I was on the Breakfast Club or if I was on a TED Talk, man, I want me to be inspired by what I said. And so for me, I was like the only way you get to that place is you got to live a life. Like you got to live a life. You can't be afraid to like live a life. Like you got to be able to go through those peaks and valleys and have that deep inside. And I mean, and also, I mean, my belief in God, my belief in God that, my mom would always tell me like, it's this Bible verse I would always read. Psalms 91 is like, he who dwells in the shelter of Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty.
What you talking about over here,
Right?
Wendell? What is
Right?
going on?
Right?
What is going
Right?
on? Ooh.
Right?
What is going on?
I mean, it's the truth.
Talk heavy then.
Like, yeah, he who
Talk
dwells
heavy.
in the... Yeah, I mean, for me, it started for me with football, but like football was really like an incubator for me, because I remember those times being in camp. When I would be in camp, those would be some of the most intimate moments I would have with myself. And I would read my Bible. I would just listen to music. I would read these Bible verses. And I remember thinking that, and I'd say, I always knew I was going to be all right.
God energy. God energy. INNERGY. Because you said earlier that you always quiet the noise. So to me, you're saying that I go within. But just me, my faith, my belief, and I go within. I silence everybody else out. I block them out, and I just go within myself. That God energy that all of us possess.
Facts.
Every single one of us.
Facts.
Sheesh. So now we're here. We fall flat on our face. We go through the trials. We go through the tribulations. And you say, you know what? I know I'm better than that. I know this is not my current situation. This doesn't dictate who I am right now. So what does it look like coming out of that?
Coming out of it is, at the end of the day, you got to do the work. Like there's no substitute for the work. And oftentimes you're not at the level where you think you should be, because you're just not there yet. Like you're not the person that you need to become to have a multi-million-dollar business. Sometimes you have to become more to do more. And I know for me it was, I started out, you talking about how I started out. I started out as, just a lot of energy, a lot of hustle, but there's no shortcuts to gaining the wisdom and the knowledge and the domain expertise of what you're doing. I mean, for me, I have a cookie business, but I mean, I've been in business, I've been in business for, I started my first business when I was probably 13 years old. So, I mean, you're talking about, I mean, I had to put my work in to be at a place where, I could be entrusted with an opportunity that could, change my family's lives, and where I could support, support, families. We got employees. I support entire families right now.
So we here at the Bake, and congratulations to that.
Thank you.
Congratulations to that. So now we're up, speed it up a little bit.
Yep.
We're the founder of Butter Pecan Bake Shop. How in the world did you just say, I'm going to open up a cookie shop? Because let me tell you something. I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. And my mama gonna watch this. My mama gonna watch this.
Okay.
Look, and I'm gonna say she's a diabetical. I'm gonna just say.
Okay.
No, but my mom's. She loved the cookies. I love the cookies. Some days I don't even tell my wife and kids that I'm coming to the bake.
I saw you pull up last week. I saw you. I saw you pull up last week, for real.
So how did we just come up with the idea of cookie shop? We need it in the community. We need it all over. We need it because how did we come to this point? Cookies.
You know what, man? I mean, honestly, coming out of the pandemic, I mean, things were doom and gloom, man. I mean, it was, they're telling us to stay away from each other, keep 6 feet apart, wash your hands, put a mask on. I felt like, the things, like the way that I was raised, I was raised to come together and to share love. And I felt like that was missing. And I was like, man, what can I do? Like, there's so much time going by where I got friends and family members we haven't really connected like that. I was like, yo, what can I do to like maintain that closeness? And I was like, yo, it's nothing like sharing a dessert with somebody and like mutually having that same experience. And in my family, it was always good times when we had good desserts. Like, it's a birthday, it's a celebration, everybody was happy, everybody was cool. And so I was like, yo, what can I do? And so it was cookies. And it started with me thinking about my grandma. She used to make this nutcake, and she would give it to all of the grandkids. And so I was like, yo, what if I turn my grandma's nutcake into a cookie? And I started playing around with it, and the result of it was our brown butter pecan cookie. And that cookie, it was absolutely amazing. And I was like, I would send it to friends. They was like, yo, that's pretty damn good. And I was like, yo, let me try my hand at a chocolate chip. Let me try my hand at a cookies and cream. Before I knew it, I had 5 flavors. I would send it out to friends and family, and they was like, yo, you could sell these, fam. Like these, like I tasted the competitors. There's a few cookie companies out there, and they was like, yo, these, I think you got a shot with these. And I just start doing it, putting pen to pad, and just one foot in front of the other.
I'm not saying this just because I know you. These are the best cookies I've ever had in my entire life. I kid you not. It's so serious. It's like I said, I have to. Everything is in moderation for me. I try to take care of the physique. It's to the point where I have to really like exercise during the week because I already know on a certain day of the week I'm going to the bake shop. Right. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get the cookies. My mom told me yesterday, she said, son, I eat healthy all week, almost all month. Because today, called me up today, son, I went and got a box of cookies. Like, they are that good. And what's crazy about it, they taste so nostalgic. It tastes like somebody's grandmother made them. Like, you're at home, like in the kitchen, having great conversation, and like, man, these are really good. You know what I mean? So how did you come up with the recipe? How did you know it was going to be butter pecan? How did you come up with the name?
First of all, like I said, it's not my first rodeo. Right. So, it's the name itself. I felt like I said, it started with that brown butter pecan cookie. I wanted to kind of pay homage to, my grandma, both of my grandmas, and, all of my family members. And so that butter pecan, it means something to us. Also, I felt like for a cookie shop, I felt like when you say the name, you can almost taste it when you say the name. Like Butter Pecan Bake Shop, like they got some fire ass cookies. Like Butter Pecan Bake Shop, like it sounds like a place where you're gonna be licking your lips and you're gonna be like, yo, I mean, like for real, you're gonna be like, these some good ass cookies.
So I wasn't gonna ask you, but can I have one like? Can I have one, like,
we got cookies.
What we got?
I mean, right here. This is the cookie that started it all. I mean, you look at this right here. This is an absolute perfect cookie.
Oh God.
I mean, I always think about if my grandma could have had this cookie, like this would have been the one where she would have been sending this one back to Louisiana. You know, she would have been like, y'all got to try this cookie right here. This is the one. I mean, for us, it's that brown butter base and then those real pecans. I mean, a lot of cookie companies that you go to, they shortcut. You know, like you said, it's like grandma's back there. For us, we don't cut no corners. I mean, we use real butter, we use real ingredients. I mean, everything we do this joint the old-fashioned way. Like, we actually put blood, sweat, and tears into this cookie, and like you could taste it in every bite.
It tastes like love.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes like honestly, it tastes like community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes like connection.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes like
Mm-hmm.
intentional. Mm-hmm. Like I made this cookie because I wanted to bring something special to the community or to our people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So can I be honest with you though? Mm-hmm. Can I be honest? So, like 3 weeks ago, I said I went to it's one of the popular corporation cookies. I think it's like Mr. Fields or something. Mm-hmm. I went there, right, and this is a true story. I went there because I used to be a really hardcore Mr. Fields fan when it comes to the cookies. Mm-hmm. Are you following me? Mm-hmm. The day before I had your cookies, so I went to Mr. Fields and I wanted to taste their chocolate chip cookie. Mm-hmm. I came home. I said, baby, I'll never eat Mr. Fields again. And it's just the truth. It's the honest God's truth. I said, I'll never eat it again. Shay was like, well, you been a trader? I said, no, I really wanted to compare it. Mm-hmm. These cookies are amazing. Okay, so question for you.
Yep.
Because I know you have the BP family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Give us an intimate moment where you knew that this is going to be something.
Intimate moment where I knew it was going to be something.
Like these cookies were going to be, like I knew I got something here.
So for me, it was being a businessman. For me, it was really important that, like I think about a business and I'm like, yo, I need product market fit. I need to know that like before this is something. I put my own money up on this business. I mean, this is not like we didn't have no investors. This ain't no venture funded. This is hard earned money, and we putting it up. And we believe in ourselves, and we taking a chance. And so for me, like I said, I come from LA, and for us, I wanted to, I just went to the most basic, simplest origin, and I was like, I need to get these cookies into the hands of the people. And so what I did was I went to Lake Merritt, I went to breweries, I went to schools, I went to people's jobs, I went anywhere they would have me, and I set up a booth. And I just sampled my cookies. And I asked people, I'm like, yo, are these cookies amazing? Would you spend money on these cookies? What's your favorite flavor? What can I do different? And I'm telling you, the response was just resounding. They were like, dude, these are the best cookies I've ever had. That butter pecan cookie, it's one of those things where, people bite it and they're like,
It is. It is.
And they like, yo, I need to tell somebody. They're like, yo, you need to come try these cookies. And then we came up with a banana pudding cookie. I mean, because for me, banana pudding was like, that was a staple in my house. And so I was like, yo, let me put that in a cookie. We put that banana pudding cookie, pudding in a cookie, and it was over. Like, it was over. Like, people was coming up from all over the woodworks, and they're like, yo, I need that banana pudding cookie. I need that banana pudding cookie. And when they came for the banana pudding cookie, they grabbed a butter pecan cookie, and then they grabbed a strawberries and cream cookie, and they're like, wait, you make an oatmeal raisin cookie? And I'm like, yeah, I make an oatmeal raisin pecan. They're like, dude,
that's the
this
problem.
Is the better. And for me, I mean, every cookie, we got 10 flavors standard, and every month we come up with 2 monthly flavors. For me, I think about the flavors as like a good album. It's like every song, every cookie got to bring something new to the table.
Oh, my
Every
God.
cookie is like its own world. Like none of my cookies compete with each other. We got a banana toffee, we got banana pudding, but they in a whole different orbit, And so, yeah, I could go on and on about the cookie flavors, man. Like we
So-
go heavy with those.
Okay. Let's slow it down because I just had a cookie and it tastes really amazing. You opened up your first location. Was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago, we opened up in Pinole, California.
And your second location is here in Emeryville.
Emeryville, we opened on June 5th, 2023.
And I saw on IG that this was your 2-year anniversary.
By the grace of God, we made 2 years.
How do you open up 2 locations within 2 years? That is a crazy grind to me. How in the world did you do that?
Man, first of all, God, honestly, God, because it's all kinds of horrible things that could happen. And, by the grace of God, we've been, God has kept his hands on us. But on a day-to-day, I would say, really just getting up every day and just having this relentless pursuit to be better than I was the day before.
Be better than yesterday.
Honestly. And every day I create a checklist of what I deem is like the most important things. For me, I have this process. I kind of go through this. It's kind of like visionary, manager, technician. Visionary, manager, technician. I go through this. And so when I'm a visionary, is like that's kind of like my kind of artistic vibe. I'm playing. I'm like, hey, what could this become? Let me look at adjacent businesses. Let me draw inspiration. And so I think about what's like the big domino that I could knock down. Like what's the biggest thing that I could do that could truly impact the business? And then, I become a manager and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to execute that? And whether that's me doing it or whether that's getting my team to do it, I become technical and I just focus on the details. And when I put something on, and for me, I think there's power in writing things down. I write.
Don't forget that. Doggy treat. There is power in writing things down. There is power in writing things down. There's a scripture. I hate to do this. I'm a preacher's kid.
All good.
But write the vision down
Yeah.
and make it plain. Okay, I'm back to your story. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, nah, for real. I write it down, man. I'm somebody, when I'm in visionary mode, I'm whiteboarding. I put everything on my whiteboard, and I put crazy things on my whiteboard. We had this saying, we call it my old job, we call it a BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goals. And so I would have this big, hairy, audacious goals, like, yo, we're going to have 2 locations, and we're going to sell X amount, and we're going to have amazing reviews, and we're going to do all of this stuff. And I feel as though if God put it on my heart to even envision it, it's on my heart to bring it to fruition.
Oh,
because
my God.
because everybody, I feel like dreams got serial numbers on them.
Oh,
Dreams got serial numbers on them, and my dream had a serial number on it, and I'm the only one that could bring it to life.
oh my God.
Because we don't dream alike.
Oh,
Everybody don't dream the same. And it's all respect to every other people that dream, different. But God puts heavy things on my heart, and God put it on my heart to create a cookie shop and put it in the heart of Pinole, and for it to be an inspiration for people like myself and people in the community, and a gathering place for people to come and create memories. Take my cookies back to wherever they're going, take them to the party, wherever they're going, and for these cookies to be at the center of a moment, and that goes back to when I was during COVID and how I wanted to bring people together. And for me, it's like, it's almost a responsibility that I have to kind of share this good news with as many people as possible. And that's why I felt like I needed to have a second location.
Wow. Wow. So where do you see Butter Pecan Bake Shop in the next 5 years? Because I'm asking that because you already have location 1 and location 2. But before you even ask that question, what if there are listeners out there that want to taste your cookies from another state?
Yeah, we offer nationwide shipping. So yeah, wherever you at, we pack them up fresh. We bake everything fresh, and we get it out we get it out to you ASAP. So yeah, we do nationwide shipping.
So your Instagram page is at Butter Pecan?
At Butter Pecan Bake Shop. We made it real plain for you.
And they have a link on there they can go to, and simple as that.
Yep, definitely.
So any listener viewer that's watching right now, Big Charles putting his name on it. I'm putting my name on it. Please taste the cookies. I promise you. The only issue that you're gonna have is this is the only problem. This is the only problem. You can't just buy one or two. Now, that's the only thing. You go in there to buy one or two, then next thing you know, you just thought, well, I want that one. I want the toffee. I want cookies and cream. I want butter pecan. I come home with 3 or 4 cookies that I like one cookie that my wife like, one cookie that my daughter like, one cookie that my son, both of my boys like, and they all ask me why I didn't get other flavors for them. Please try it.
And you know what, man? That's actually a reason why I wanted to get in the cookie business in the first place, because it's something about food that just hits different. I mean, me and my family, we're in the car and we're like, oh, where are we gonna go eat? And it's like, just say you want a hamburger or something. And dude, you'll drive by 10 hamburger places just to get to the one that you wanna go to. Like, it's an absolutely emotional response. And you know, so for me, like I said, I've been in business for a long time. And I mean, I sold a lot of different stuff. I mean, in one of my previous jobs, I mean, we used to sell property management. And I used to have to try to get excited about that. And so before that, it was, you know, like I told you I had a company before.
Yeah.
And so my company before, it was started with me and a couple of my my teammates from UC Berkeley. We used to sell a body wipe. And so I used to have to get excited about a body wipe. And it was like, yo, you could, you know, when you don't have time to take a shower, when you go camping, all of this stuff. And it was like, okay, cool. I use your body wipe. This is dope.
I didn't know that.
You know what I mean? And I mean, yeah, for real. We had a company. I mean, that was kind of like where I, you know, kind of honed my skills. You know, I started with, I started with 2 of my friends. We had this company and we built it up. I went on Shark Tank. I went on Shark Tank. We begged them dudes for some money. Spoiler alert, we didn't get no bread. And
got turned down again.
Yeah, we got turned down again. Spoiler alert, we didn't get no bread. And, you know, but we were able to get the product distributed nationwide into Target and into Walmarts. And then that, you know, and so for me, I wanted to have a product that was truly craveable. That kind of hit from a different spot.
It's definitely craveable.
You know, that was like,
it's
you know,
craveable.
that kind of had that created an emotional response.
It's definitely make you get emotional.
It's an emotional response where on your last dollar, if you got, hey, you've been working all week and you only got $20 to your name, like, dude, I'm going to buy a 6-pack of Butter Pecan Bake
Check
Shop.
this out. No, this is a true story. Honest, true story. So I work with children who are autistic, right? And I was on the bus one day, and I was they had a lady that was on the bus, and she was having a bad day. She said this. She's like, I'm having a horrible day. She said, I'm going to Butter Pecan and I'm going to get me a cookie. That's dead serious. I'm going to Butter Pecan so how does that make you feel when you know that your cookie makes someone's days better?
You know what, man? That's where, you know, I think about, I mean, it is cookies, you know, whether it's you had a long week, whether it's your cheat meal. I mean, I think from a mental health standpoint, sometimes you just need a small win. You know, sometimes you just need a small win.
I like that.
And I mean, you know, life is hard. You know, things not going your way. You lost your job. Yo, you could come and buy 1 Butter Pecan Bake Shop cookie for $3.50, and in that moment, it's pure bliss.
It's gonna change your life.
Yeah,
that cookie will change your life. I'm telling you.
For real, like, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we made it with that in mind, that like, yo, life is hard and they could come in. And I mean, when you walk into my space, I wanted it to be really inviting, you know, everything about it, you know, my staff members, everybody's got a pretty smile and they greet you. Hey, welcome to Butter Pecan Bake Shop. What can I get started for you? The cookies are just sitting out on display. You can see them, the smell, everything is just truly intoxicating. I wanted it to be a safe place where people could come and, you know, they could, whatever was going on, they could leave it at the door, and they could come in here and they could just take themselves to wherever they want to go.
I love it because you can definitely taste that passion and the butter in the cookie. It really tastes good. So, question: where do we go from here? Congratulations on the 2-year anniversary.
Thank you, fam.
So where do we go? Where does the CEO, where does the founder, where does the husband, where does the entrepreneur go from here? Because at the end of the day, it seems like you're in a good place now. So what's the vision for
So,
the?
yeah. Good question. I mean, for us, I mean, our whole thing is we want to be the best cookies in the Bay. And so for us, it's about, making sure that, we're able to provide you guys with multiple locations in the Bay. So wherever you guys want to get some cookies, we're right there for you. I plan to continue to add locations. I plan to just continue to execute and do what we do. Really turn this brand into, right now it's kind of like a best kept secret for people in the Bay. I want to turn it into
I don't know
a
how my
household
mama
name.
tell everybody about the dang old cookies. I don't know how it's the best kept secret. My mama tells everybody. I'm sorry, but my mama tells everybody about these cookies.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, man. The best kept secret. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like we want to take it from like a best kept secret to like, like we're competing with the heavyweights. I mean, there's some big companies out there, but I feel like I feel like I got a nice value proposition. I mean, my cookies, I've tried the competitors, and a lot of those cookies are, they're very doughy. They're very, putting a lot of stuff on top of them. It's really not the cookie experience that I like. I like a nice buttery cookie that it's almost three-dimensional. It's that initial bite where it's like slightly crunchy on the edges and soft and chewy on the inside.
Oh my God.
And leaves you with that aftertaste.
Oh, yeah.
It's that aftertaste.
It's the aftertaste.
That lick your lips aftertaste.
Yeah.
I needed that three-dimensional. Whereas most cookie places are one-dimensional. You go there, it's just like sugar. It's just a straight sugar high. Whereas mine, I mean, I'm pulling different ingredients. We got cardamom, I got ginger, I got all these different ingredients that I'm using that, kind of create this elevated experience, and we don't cut no corners. I mean, this other cookie companies, I taste them and I know the game. People they cutting corners. I know they not using the real stuff. And so for me, when you get a Butter Pecan Bake Shop cookie, if it ain't the best damn cookie you done ever had in your life, hey, hit me up on IG and I'm gonna make it right. Like, we got the best damn cookies and I put my name on it.
Oh.
Like for real, for real.
I gotta say this before we get out of here. You must have prayed over these cookies. You must have really, somebody must have put some holy oil or something on these cookies. Because these cookies are amazing.
Man, for real, I think of each cookie as like, it's like a commercial in itself. If you got one of my cookies, it might be one, you might be at the office and it might be one cookie left. You done walk past the break room 10 times. It's one cookie left. You an EVS worker and you see one cookie left. That cookie got to be able to stand on its own. It's got my family's name on it. It's got to be able to, it's got to make you say, damn, this is the best cookie I done had in my life. If it don't do that, it don't deserve that Butter Pecan Bake Shop seal of approval.
I'm going to say, God damn. That cookie is the best cookie of my life. So listen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Can you give the listeners one inspirational quote, inspirational whatever it is? What's your go-to? Because I know before I heard you say don't get cute, and that keeps me. That's a thing in my house now. I tell them don't get cute. Can you give them one of those Wendell quotes or something that you?
I could say that. I mean, it's so many, but I would say that wherever you are in your journey at this time, just understand that your journey is divine to you, and to wherever you are, just start where you are. Don't feel as though you don't need to wait for an invitation. You don't need to wait for somebody to give you permission to dream. Just start where you are, start putting pen to paper and do the work. Like, there's no substitutes for doing the work. So many people want to do it, but not everybody is willing to wake up at 4 a.m, put their savings up on the line, risk their marriage, risk everything, be willing to risk it all. I mean, if it's something that's worth doing, it's worth risking it all. I mean, I always think to myself, at some point, when I'm 100 years old, I'm gonna meet God. And when I meet God, I always think when I meet God, I want him to be proud. And I want him to say, man, you took everything that I gave you and you made the absolute most with it. Like, you were a good steward of what I gave you. But on the flip side, I always think that what it would feel like if you didn't. Imagine getting to heaven one day and God meeting you. And if God had a cell phone and he said, hey, look at the person you could have been if you believed and you took chances and you trusted and you knew, hey, that person that came by that job you could have took, yeah, I know it wasn't convenient, but it was just me testing you. I wanted to see how bad you really wanted it. This is who you could have been right here. You could have been this person, and people don't realize for me, like when I got done playing, I got cut from the NFL, and my first job, I worked in a mortuary. Like when I say I worked in a mortuary, like I used to pick up dead bodies, and I did everything at the mortuary. I used to do services at the mortuary. I used to sit and do multiple funeral services every day, and I would see people laying there, and I was like, at that point, it's nothing else you can do. Like, it's nothing else you can do to, like, bring your dreams to life. It's over at that point. I know we're all going to get there, and when we do get there, I don't want to have any regrets. This body, this capsule that I'm living in, I just want to fully exhaust it. Any dream that God has given me and put on my heart, I want to fully exhaust it. And I challenge you to do the same. Because if we all did that and we didn't wait for somebody else to empower us and we just said, hey, man, I'm good enough, and I'm gonna just start with what I have. And yeah, it might be, you might be just sweeping it in and out. But if you're sweeping it in and out, be the best sweeper you could become, because everybody gets opportunities and you don't realize it, but somebody's always watching. And that person that's sweeping, if you could be entrusted with a broom, you could be entrusted with, a whole storeroom. What Jay say? He say, we got to fill up the shelves before we could buy the building. On that entrepreneur song, he said, fill up the shelves before you buy the building. And that's how I used to feel. I used to be like, when I had a product in Target, I was like, I want to own this Target one day. But until I own this Target, I'm going to keep filling this shelf right here. And then I was like, let me start getting the buildings. And so when I own the buildings, now I could create my own experience and take it to a whole nother level. I want my life. I want you guys to see me and see my story, and I want it to truly be an inspiration, because I am you. Like I said, I played ball because that's what was given to me, but wherever you are, take what you got, take it to the next level, find you a good woman, find you a good man, find you a good partner, because, this life is hard, this life is scary, and, you can't do it alone, man. Like, you can't do it alone. So, yeah, that's what I got for you.
This is why Big Dog Talk Podcast is the best podcast in the Bay, in the nation. Listen, because let me tell you one thing and one thing only. Seeing is believing. All roads lead to self. You have the power to create your own life. I have a quote that says, it's not my quote, it's Henry David Thoreau quote. Goes confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life that you've always imagined. Wendell, thank you, Big Dog.
Appreciate you.
Inspiring, man.
Appreciate you.
King. Oh, they gonna love this.